And the Lakers took care of business. There was an urgency in the building. Yep, that guy right there. We'll talk about him first. 31, 12, and 9. LeBron finished with 21. Julius Randle, 27.6 assists, and Anthony Edwards had 25. But we will start with Luka. First Laker since Magic Johnson to post a 31, 12, and 9 stat line in the playoffs. Third Laker, which is pretty good, to record 30 or more points in the first 2 playoff games. I know after the first game, there's some question marks over there. He said, was Nico wrong? Because we're going to talk about that for the rest of our lives. But how about game 2? What'd you see from Luka?
Man, Luka magic. I mean, he came out and did what we're used to seeing him do, a dominating performance. Obviously a better showing in game 1. He was able to get his teammates involved with 9 assists compared to 1 assist in game 1. So, you know, when he's playing that type of basketball, the Lakers are going to be a tough team to beat. On top of that, LeBron comes back with a double-double, 7 assists as well. Just a great showing all around. Obviously, your 2 best players, they performed at a high level. When you get those type of nights, you know, it's pretty much a W in the column. So, to answer that question about Nico, was Nico wrong? Obviously, Nico was wrong. I think that was obvious, but you know, when you think about it from a defensive standpoint, that's always going to be, you know, a glaring point in this argument. And to Luka's defense, I think he had a pretty decent, you know, showing on the defensive end last night. He was aggressive. He played with urgency. He was asserting himself in every play, even with the help side action. You know, he was there. He was plugging the gap. So those are the type of things you want to see from your superstar. And I think LeBron was one of the guys that set the tone early and also gave Vincent set the tone defensively for the Lakers. So great showing all around.
Yeah, I think what makes Luka so unique is just he can obviously score any night he wants. He just showed you. He had 37 points night 1, 31, and this is against a great defense with a lot of different looks that they're throwing at him. They're throwing bigs, smalls, you know, being physical with him, playing off him, blitzing him. He's seen every coverage already in just 2 games, and he's still scoring at will. So I think it's his decision making. It's him not turning the ball over. It's him making the right play because he gets downhill. You can't speed him up, and he's in the paint. So now it's when does he find the shooter? Does he be aggressive and shoot the little floater? Does he find a Jackson Hayes or a Rui at the rim for a lob threat? He's got so many options because he's so talented offensively, where I think that's honestly why he gets in trouble sometimes, because he has so many options and he's so good. But it just depends what you need from him that night. Again, he can score on anybody. There's no defense that can stop him, but I think what makes him best is when he is that facilitating, passing guy and then takes what the defense gives him offensively and goes and has 30 and 10 and 8 and an all-around balanced game. And like Boogie said, last night, at least the effort was there defensively. Like, dude was flying around. He was cutting off baseline. He was into it. He tried to take a charge on one play. Was animated with, you know, I haven't seen that version of him in a while. So to have the whole versatile, balanced game from him, including the defensive end, is when I think the Lakers are obviously at best.
Can we talk about the fact that he and LeBron with the double-doubles, because we know game 1, we talked about it a lot, what needed to change, what didn't. Luka had the 1 assist in that first game. He had 9 last night. I also love that at the podium he said, is 9 assists good enough for you? To the reporters. But in all seriousness, for Luka and the team to do as best as they can, how important is it that everyone else is a part of this?
I mean, it's everything, because you're looking at a team that you don't have any guys besides Austin Reeves that can create shots and opportunities for themselves. They gotta eat off of what these guys create in Luka and LeBron. If Luka has 1 assist, you got the majority of your roster standing there watching you play basketball on offense, waiting for you to create an opportunity for them, waiting for you to get them the basketball where they can make open shots. Like, none of those guys, besides Austin Reeves, is going to put the ball on the floor, make plays for themselves and the other guys around. So for them to have 9 and 7 assists, respectively, that makes this team go. That's a big part of their motor when it comes to how this team is built and how they're constructed.
And you know what? When I saw the over/under in this game, it was 205 points. Remember? And I was like, wow, that seems super low. And this was another crazy low-scoring game, which just shows you that defense is still a huge part of the game. You can still win games getting stops on the other end. And these teams are so. Think about it. We're talking Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Luka, and these are the final scores. So now that's what we're talking about with playoff basketball, where it matters more. Each possession is slow, where it gets bogged down. There's more half-court sets. There's less transition. And now, again, that little 2-month stint that the Lakers had when they were playing really good defense, that showed last night that they're capable. They need to do this again now on the road. Even if shots aren't falling, they're still capable of winning games if they can hold them under 100 points.
I think it's like quality versus quantity in the playoffs. Like, it just feels, each time feels more important to me. We know about the Game 1 celebration. Ant had some things to do. But before last night's game, he walked over to Lakers warm-ups and had a little moment with Luka. I'm actually disappointed it was friendly, to be honest with you. I kind of was hoping this wouldn't be friendly, but I do love, Chandler, that this is a fun rivalry.
Yeah, we know exactly what happened here. There's always a thing before the game where there's not enough balls on our side and their side. So he looked down, he saw like they had like 8 balls, they had 2. So this is just friendly. This is just friendly, him going down there. I do love him animated. I do love him. I love him picking up Luka 94 feet and kind of, you know, checking him and talking trash. I think that's what makes him special. I think that's what makes this matchup, you know, so much fun to watch. But there was nothing here. This was
I wanted it to be,
all in good fun.
I wanted it to be.
Some of the stuff that we make stories not even supposed to be on camera.
I know. Well, I think Taylor Rooks had a good angle of that whole thing. It was like, it was cute and it was fun, but I kind of wanted it to be mean. Lou, I'm going to start with you on this one. So Ant's averaging 24 and he's shooting just under 41%. So the fact that they're going home tied in this series, how confident are you when you're Minnesota?
They should be confident. I mean, didn't play their best basketball. Game 2 was one of those games where they got in trouble with some fouls and some foul trouble, and it kind of messed up their rotations and their lineups. And you have a grinded out game. Like, when you look at the identity of this team, we talk about their physicality, their toughness. Those are the teams that usually win grinded out games. And so if I'm them, we didn't play our best night last night, and we already got one. You can kind of take your foot off the gas sometimes when you steal game 1. You don't have that same urgency in game 2 as you did. So going back home 1-1, have an opportunity to be on your home floor and all of those things, you got to feel confidently about how you're playing and the way that you're going about this series if you're Ant-Man and you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially with the next 2 in your building.
Yeah, getting 1 for sure is awesome. Like, it's, you know, going back to your building, you do the same thing or try and sneak 2 out of there, you're in great shape. So I think this is a huge win. It is a little dicey on both sides. Like, Luka, he was 2 for 8 again from 3 last night. If he starts shooting 40-50% from 3, I think they're going to be in trouble. But he hasn't really found his rhythm, his 3-point percentage since he's been a Laker. But this series is going to go back and forth. This is one of the best ones besides, you know, Pistons, Knicks, Clippers, Nuggets. This one is right there. I think this is there's another one that could go the distance.
Couldn't agree, more or less. This series can go either way. Obviously, when you're Minnesota and you're able to steal a game at home, that's great for you. This next game is super important. It can also determine which way this series goes. So if they're able to steal another one at home, I mean, the momentum's in their favor. So I think Minnesota's in a great spot. But this next game is big for both teams.
I think in the playoffs, especially this first round, it feels like the differences that coaches will make or tweak from games 1 to 2 are always a little bit interesting, maybe sometimes questionable. But the fact that Rudy Gobert was hunted, I like saying he was hunted last night. Go ahead, Chandler, what were you going to say?
You know what's interesting about Naz Reid picks up his 4th foul that they rescind like 5 or 6 minutes later in the game. So that was kind of a huge mistake on the officials that they allowed it to go that much long of a game. But this is interesting. A 4-time All-Defensive Player of the Year, and again, you can't ever take that away from him, but it's very strange to me that the best defensive player 4 times in his career is being just worked in pick and rolls and hunted, and they're looking at getting him in the action to getting him switched on Luka. You can feel it. Every time Luka gets him, the crowd goes nuts, just ready for him to kind of go at him. So, like, it is an interesting take that one of the greatest defensive players of all time, and on a resume-wise, is getting picked on in the playoff series. Like, that's.
Y'all are supposed to laugh when he says that. He technically has won the award.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think it's got the most, tied for the most ever, right? And then he's getting put in every action, like thinking that's a weakness.
But you know the playoffs. And
being yelled, sub him out. Luka's yelling, sub him out.
But you know the playoffs come down to matchups. This is a bad matchup for him. Like, the Lakers thrive in the small ball. Like, when you can put LeBron James at the 4, put Jackson Hayes or even Rui sometimes at the 4 or the 5, and they go to that small ball lineup, and they play 5 guys out. They have 5 guys around the 3-point line. Rudy has to pick his poison. It's just it's a bad matchup. It's a bad series for him right now. That's why it's so instrumental for Naz Reid to not get in foul trouble and play minutes. First game, Naz Reid played 30 minutes. Yep. Rudy Gobert played 20 minutes. They have success. Flip-flop the second game, Rudy Gobert with 30 minutes, Naz Reid with 20. They lose the basketball game. So for me, it's a matchup problem. I understand we like to criticize Rudy, and I'll let y'all get into it. Have at it. But what I'm saying is, in this particular matchup, it's just a bad mix for him, and it's not going to work out if they have to play him extended minutes with the way that the Lakers play.
There's no such thing as a bad matchup for a 4-time defensive player.
Yes, it is. It just is proven. It shouldn't be.
That means he's a generational defender. That means he's the best defender of this past decade.
Don't do this.
It's only 2 other guys to do this.
Boogie.
I have to.
Go ahead.
Because at this point, it's not a fact, it's a narrative of him being a generational defender. It's not showing, and it's the fact that teams' scouting report is to attack you.
That's not good.
It doesn't add up. So, with that being said, when it comes to Minnesota, I think they had a game plan in Game 1. Obviously, his minutes were a lot shorter Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, his minutes were increased because Naz Reid was in foul trouble. So I think the Lakers took full advantage of that. I think they actually were happy with the fact that he was on the floor a lot more, and they exposed it. So,
But that makes it a bad matchup.
But I agree with
it also makes it a narrative that he's a great defender.
If you're a 4-time defensive player of the year, there should be no
It's a
bad
narrative.
They should be scared of you, right?
Two things
They
can be
should
true. Yeah, 2 things can be true.
Do you think
Not
if the
hunting.
Lakers were playing the Spurs right now, they'd be trying to put Wemby in a pick and roll? Just
No.
have no chance.
Yeah, 2
When
things.
Dwight Howard was in his prime, and he was winning consecutive, people were afraid to go to the paint.
We are the same person when it comes to that argument. Yes,
Glad we can agree on
Yes, you have a narrative.
Progress.
If you're a 4-time defensive player of the year, it shouldn't be a bad matchup.
No,
We're
ever.
agreeing 100%. But the reality is, this is a bad matchup for him. He's in drops. He's not going to guard nobody at the 3-point line. He can't stop anybody from going off the dribble in this particular series. Again, you can be the 4-time defensive player of the year until you got to guard LeBron James.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
And by the way, we can't ever take those away from him. He won those. Those are
really
on his
can't.
resume. Those are done. But
They're going to
now-
make a Hall of Fame
but-
situation.
Oh, first
ballot.
first
First
ballot.
ballot.
He's in.
First
And again,
ballot.
Rudy has value, and he has he's had a great career. He's made a lot of money. It's just interesting watching this game. I'm listening to Reggie Miller be like, "This is why you can't play him late because defense." I'm like, he's won Defensive Player of the Year 4 times.
But he also didn't win it this year.
That's true.
Things
And
change
that's
year by
true.
year in our league.
Wasn't even considered.
It's just when I
Things
think
change,
That
things
makes
change
no
year by
sense.
year in our league.
But that makes no sense.
Like if you just landed on the planet and you're watching basketball and you told somebody all these facts about Rudy Gobert, it doesn't make sense, right? Like that you're this on one hand, but on the other hand, you could be in games
if
at certain
Tony
times.
Allen,
disagree
we're going
because
on the opposite way of Tony Allen when we played against them because he was so good. He was
that's
blowing
weird.
shit up. He was unbelievable. Like, you think the Grizzlies are going at Lou Dort right now? No, they are going the opposite
avoid
way.
him.
They're keeping him out of actions. That's the only thing where I'm like, this is a little concerning.
He's a former defensive player of the year.
But
we have to keep that
He's in
cool, but at some point,
He's in a category of elite.
yes.
Four
Ben
times
Wallace
is
and
4
Dikembe
times.
Mutombo.
Lou's saying, though, he didn't win it this year. He maybe take a step back
Yeah,
now defensively at this age and whatever.
But I feel like this is not the first time.
Even
it's
if you're
conversation.
taking a step back, you're in a category of
And you also
two
have
others.
and you also have a different basketball team than you had last year. You had Cat next to him last year.
What's that got to do with defense?
No, I'm still on the matchup part. I'm still on the matchup part because when you have Cat, you have somebody that can go out and guard these guys at the 4. Now Rudy can stay back in the drops and do all of the things that he's had success, and that's what's giving him the edge to win these awards. Now, when you open that up and you get exposed to that, it's a
So
completely
it's a team award now.
No, it's not a team award.
So
but
why should Cat determine how Rudy defends?
because of matchups.
If he's this great generational defender.
Because of matchups. Listen,
There's no such thing when you're a generational defender.
it is, bro.
It
shouldn't
be.
be.
It shouldn't be.
What's interesting,
But it is.
what's interesting too, is on the other side, Jackson Hayes has had 0 impact, so they're going small. So they're almost forcing Minnesota's hands to go small, and for whatever reason, Finch is not. He's sticking with Rudy, which is almost now getting exposed in a game. Austin
Well,
Reeves
again,
going
That's gotta
by.
be frustrating.
Well, again,
Go
no,
by.
I don't
Luka
know if
scoring
he's
him, literally
sticking-
looking at Ben Stain, get him off me. Like it's at some point you gotta help him.
But I don't know if he's sticking with Rudy again. Naz Reid did get in foul
Right.
trouble,
Yeah.
and that messed up everything, and you had to play him extended minutes. Like, you'll be crazy to see how you played in game 1 and go away from their game plan.
Right, and I don't think he's crazy, and I don't think he's stubborn.
Can we talk
enough.
about, I have a new rule that they need to implement too.
This ought to be good.
Anytime a player goes like this, and they're
God,
wrong,
yes.
it should be a tech.
Yes.
Every time there's a
100%.
foul call,
Yes.
every time there's a
Best idea you had
foul
on the
call,
show.
they all go like this, like the first play of the game. Like, do you really
Everybody.
think they're going to
they
challenge the
also
first
gotta-
play of the game?
Also, the
it
people
being-
courtside doing it.
it being out of bounds
stop
off
it.
They
your
also
leg.
got to
like-
read the room because it's only a few guys that the coach will even
Thank
consider.
you.
Bro, like Jackson Hayes is like this. I'm like,
Read the room,
what are we
dog.
doing?
I hate it. Thank you for
Tee him
pointing
up
it out.
every time they do that.
It's a pet peeve. It is.
It
a
is
fellow pet
obnoxious.
peeve. I hate it. I hate it so much. We had another game last night. The Pacers and the Bucks. A little spicy in this one. Dame was back. Didn't matter though. The Pacers with a 2-0 series lead as they head back to Milwaukee. Pascal Siakam with 24 and 11. Tyrese, most overrated player.